This philosopher, Michel de Montaigne, says, "Those who have compared our life to a dream were right. We are sleeping awake and waking asleep." Why am I talking about this? Why am I pointing this out? Because I don't think we live by our convictions anymore. And when I started this project, I realized I wanted to live by my conviction, or convictions. And that is the most important thing we can do as humans. I even think that it is our duty to do this, to be true to nature, to be truthful to what we have been given by nature, by God, by the universe. But in our current society, we don't even know what our convictions are. We are often confused. Convictions are pressed onto us externally, and we become so misguided and even irritated with the things we don't want to follow. As I said, we all become pros, or we are urged to become pros, to suppress our natural needs, wants, and of course also urges. Although the urges come out in different ways, unhealthy ways, that we often don't want them to come out, like addictions and, well, bad things we do in life that we actually don't want to do. But we realize that there is just no way out and we spin out of control. I believe that this is all due to the fact that we don't actually want to live the life that is pressed onto us. And then we go spinning and spinning until we are unspun, we go crazy, because we understand at some point that this is not the lives we want to live. And naturally, we are aware that our bodies have a tendency to feel pressed through anxiety, depression, all these kind of issues. Even like the other mental illnesses that there are, countless ones. The more constricted we become, the more our mind goes crazy. But also, of course, isolation causes craziness. Why? Because we finally spun out of the circle. We were spinning, 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 spinning. Time and over again. Suddenly we stop. We feel dizzy, of course. Probably even dizzier when we were still spinning. That's why spending time alone is always going to be a bit more healthy, but also dangerous. As we realize that we separate ourselves a little bit from this pressed society that presses its needs and wants onto us, that talks about a way of living that we might not agree with. Many of us might not agree with. As somebody said, I would have to look up who, but if everybody lived by their own convictions, we would have no war, because nobody would be willing to fight the wars for them, because they don't fight the wars out of their own convictions. And in this way, I want to make space for our convictions and for us to truly think about them, and also about our needs and urges, and also about our bodies, the natural way they work. We have to listen to our bodies. I've also heard people say that women, they have this periodic break in their month, and people suggest that they should not work during that time, but the rest of the month they're okay. And that is another form of people telling you what to do, of society introducing ideas, especially of work, on women who have different bodies, different faces, different hormonal balances than men. And I'm not saying it's bad just for women, I'm also saying it's bad for men, because men also have their urges, their desires, their hormonal balance that tells them naturally what to do, especially if they listen to it. And these things, by men and women alike, should have more importance in life. So anyway, what I wanted to say about women, pressing this much work on women is a bit of an insanity. For a woman to work 3 weeks without break is a little bit strange. I think every woman should decide, of course, for herself when and how much she wants to work, as well as men, all the same. But just 3 weeks non-stop. No man No woman should do this. You need time for rest and recreation, naturally. Your body is not made for this. But as we talk about the hormonal balances and differences between men and women, we also need to respect that the bodies are working in different ways. And as well as we respect our convictions, we should also respect these balances in the bodies that work differently. And as we go back to nature, as we go back to our human nature, I'm not saying we're regressing to a stone age or anything like that, but as we go to listen to ourselves, our intuition, we should become aware of these balances. I think to women it comes more naturally than to men, because they are connected through the month. Even if they don't count the days, they know a month passed. Every month they're really aware of this. While men, they might power through a lot and they have a lot of energy in different ways. And they have a lot of energy in general, hormonally speaking. They might not even notice that a month passed, because they don't have as much down phases, unless of course they're going through something hard or injury or mental issues or, well, work issues or societal pressure. Then of course they're stopped. But this is what I'm trying to tell. When we have energy, of course, we can work and do everything that we're supposed to do and want to do. But what is natural is the right thing to do. And we as humans, we should listen to our nature. And our nature is also slightly anarchist, in the sense that we want to look out for other people as well. We want to guide them and help them as well. But we don't want somebody above us to tell us what to do. Unless, of course, we're children and our parents need to help us and guide us in that way that they decide over us, because we're not old enough yet. But as adults, naturally we don't crave that somebody from above orders us what to do. Naturally, we want to live in a society where we help each other, where we guide each other, where we say, no, what you do is not right. Where we also say, yes, what you do is right. I approve of that. So in many ways, we need each other, but we don't need to control from above. And I hope that as we become more and more aware, I think many people are already aware of this system, but as we become more and more aware, we realize that the only way out of this is together. By making oneself hurt and by making each other hurt, and by helping each other, guiding each other, approving and disapproving of each other. Not completely, but in the actions we do, of course. So we don't condemn people, we condemn their actions. By realizing our natural balances, the bodies, the minds, everything on earth, the universe. And in that way, hopefully, we can stop ourselves from this narrative from above, from this oppression, from this sense of becoming a pro for society, to just become another crutch to hold the system up, to hold this capitalistic system up that we don't actually want to be part of anymore. We just want our peace. We just want our Netflix. We just want our safe space. And yes, working in a society that is not like that is based on community, help, love, caring, is much, much harder. Because you have to be constantly aware of what is right and wrong. And you have to remind people. And you can't just ghost people. You have to go up to them, tell them, look, I'm going to do this. And what you did was not good. I don't agree with that. I don't want you to do that anymore. It's not good for people. It's confrontation, it's hard. But it has to be done. And when you're honest with yourself, you know that it has to be done. I don't want us to be waking asleep and sleeping awake. Although sleeping awake is really beautiful because you live the life you want to live. And that's all we can dream about right now. Because we can't live the life we want to live if not everybody is part of this. On the other hand, we can still try to contribute as much as possible for this dream to come true. And for us to be awake in waking life and when we sleep. We can be awake in any state. We can be aware of the world around us and change it. We don't need to be pros. We just need to be ourselves.